hey, we were on. Hey, like we're supposed to. Wow, go
Yes.
right ahead, talk to us.
Well, welcome because here we are for another week, and this is a really good opportunity. I'm really excited about being here again and being with you again on this show. It's taking the journey together, and I am Sharon or Zare, and I am
Amar.
here with my wonderful husband Imar or
Mm-hmm.
Craig, and we are still taking this journey together, which is really
Yes.
a good thing and a good place to be. Um, we are talking today about the divine feminine energy. We're continuing
We're
to talk about it.
continuing. Okay.
Yes. And I want to start off by sharing with you our belief statement
Mm-hmm.
for taking the journey together.
Mm-hmm.
And I will read it because when I don't read it, I tend to wander. We are going to relate. It doesn't matter what our mother, father, children, or even what Jesus says, we are going to relate. At taking the journey together, we believe in relating in a balanced manner. Excuse me. Balanced relationships are the ones that are entered into as friends first and lovers second, but has both aspects in each partner.
Exactly.
And that's what we try to teach and instill in our viewers and our listeners um, when we are on the show. And that's what we try to instill in each other every day.
So make sure you go share to your friends, share to your mate, share to your enemy. So whether you are single, yes, or if you're planning to get married
Yes.
in a long-term relationship, also, or you just want to put it in the deep freezer like an old pastor used to tell me, and have to pull it out one day.
Yeah.
Then hey, this is what this is all about when it comes to taking the journey together. Healthy
But
relationships.
yes, because one of the things that I have found out is
Mm-hmm.
as I speak to the fact that I moved into this understanding late in life.
Mm-hmm.
I moved into this understanding after being in another relationship for 30 years
Mm.
and
30
realizing
years?
30 years
Wow.
and realizing that that relationship went nowhere. I mean, it went as far as it could go, and then it just kind of stalled out early on because we did not know these principles and we were not prepared, and we did not know that we needed to do the work in advance. And
Mm.
so so there was nowhere for the relationship to go after a while.
Wow. Yeah.
And
30 years. Wow.
yes.
That's some people that is old as some people are probably watching this show. Come to think about it. Huh? What do you think about that?
Yeah, they're like, wow. And then there are those people who cannot imagine
Mm-hmm.
being with someone um
30
30
years.
years.
Yeah, they're like, nah,
And then there are those
ain't gonna
people
happen.
who say, if you were with somebody for 30 years, why didn't you just continue in that relationship? Well, for one thing, there was a point where I realized we deserved better than what we had.
Yes.
And you know, I deserved better than the relationship that I was getting from him, and he deserved better than the relationship he was getting from me.
In your relationship that you're in now, if you're following these principles, it is all about you getting even better in that
Exactly.
relationship so that you both can have the
Hmm.
best or the blessed, expansive
Yeah.
relationship that you can have right here on this earth as you explore your
Hmm.
relationship together. It's
Yeah.
amazing because you just kind of turned me on when you said that. It's amazing how on our jobs, or if we, in sports,
Hmm.
or it's a hobby we're doing, um, or playing cards, we many times will take the approach of, I'm going to do better.
Yes.
I'm going to be better.
Yes.
I'm going to try to make sure I outdo this, outdo that, outdo him, whatever.
Hmm.
But yet, when it comes to our own relationships, we don't even think about it.
Right.
We usually default to this: the best it can get.
Hmm.
This is the best it's ever going to get. So my relationship now, no, my relationship then, my relationship now, my relationship forever is going to be like this.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I am living proof of that. And no, I'm not even going to begin to say that it's easy. It's a struggle every day because I went through so much before I got to this point. But because I'm not learning it alone. We're practicing this in our relationship daily, and I have setbacks as I go forward. But it's all about learning and working towards doing better, and understanding what I needed and what could have made things so much better.
You got 2 marks up there.
That's the same mark.
You ain't kidding me. Those bots are doing a heck of a job. Now we got a Tina Susan Brooks. Hello, Tina. We're glad to see you watching. And then welcome back, my favorite show. You remember her?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So glad to have you back.
Yeah, Mr. G, I remember him.
Yes. Yes.
Glad to see you. Really are glad. But back to what you were saying. The importance of.
Yeah. I just want people to understand that what we talk about works because the relationship that I am in now, that where we're practicing it, I see a difference. We're growing together every day. Whereas in my other relationship, by this time, the relationship had started to die, and we were growing in different directions.
Well, there's many relationships that happen. I'm not saying all are Afro-American relationships, but that's most of our observance. And our story has been, we keeping it hot. Remember, hot means what?
Honest, open, and transparent.
So keeping it hot, most of us have most of our experience personal. Not what you see in soap operas, not what you see in the movies, not what you see even down the street, but most of us have our own personal relationships. Our stories have been most of the time what?
In our communities.
Mostly in our communities. Yeah. And most of the time in our communities, what we see a lot of times is that the female will basically have the relationship set up in such a way. I know mine was, for my mom and so on, was I do my thing, you as the man has to do my thing. And that's how we both get along.
And I saw a lot of them that were the other way, where it was you do, the man would say, you do my thing, I do my thing, and that's the only way we're going to get along. But then there was some
in your relationship.
No. I said I have seen some.
Okay,
no.
My mom and my dad.
No, that's.
I lived with not a dad around.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that was very much how they operated.
Yeah. And
so one of the reasons why you left too. I don't really know in detail. I know they didn't get along well.
Yeah. And see, I don't know the situation between my parents either, but I do know they got along. They still had a relationship, even though they were not together.
So you really didn't have that experience,
right?
Your own self.
Right.
So what you're speaking is someone else's
exactly things that I have seen. Yeah. But more than that, I saw as I got older, I saw a lot of, I'm gonna do my thing, he's gonna do his thing, and we'll go to church together, or we'll go to dinner together, something. But it was not any real cohesiveness.
There's no doubt about it. There was that other side that you just spoke.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course there's the other furthest extreme where it's the male who basically said, you just do my thing.
Yeah.
That's how the Bible says. That's why I grew up as being, and you just doing my thing.
Right.
I have my own cultural background that says that. And that's how it goes. And that's how we're going to roll for now.
Yeah. So, but the thing of it is, you need to roll together, as you say. And that's one of those things that I'm so enjoying. And, we just go off and do things sometimes, and enjoy it. But the great part about that is the fact that after it's over.
Hello, Ms. Gates. Young lady.
Yes.
Glad to see you there.
Glad you're with us.
I just want to say shout out to some people watching.
Yes.
No fault. See him. Who else? Hello, everyone. How are you? Sound like somebody that I can't pronounce the name. You're a good one to pronounce the name, so why are you stopping looking at me?
Because I can't see it looks like Kagso Rabata.
Okay.
I can't understand all the letters because I need glasses sometimes. Yes.
Anyway, back to what you were saying. I think that's important.
Yeah, I was just saying, the good thing about when we roll together and we make decisions together and we talk together and we plan together, the good thing that comes out of that is the fact that after it's all over and for years and time to come, we still have conversation. We can
Yes.
still enjoy those moments and enjoy that time that we had together.
Mhm.
And it's and that's one of the joys of growing together. And like I say, it's not an easy thing, especially when you start doing it as late in life as I did.
Mhm.
But that does not mean that it can't happen. And I want to dispel the myth of not being able to teach an old dog new tricks.
Y'all look at it over there at her and say, she don't look like no old dog. Now, I may look like old dog,
No,
but she don't look like no old dog whatsoever from that end. But your mindset can think that.
exactly.
Who you really are is how you feel in
Mhm.
connection to who you are from the inside.
Yes.
That's why I say you're just as what? Young as you what?
Feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're talking about your mindset in the inside.
Mhm.
Of course, can reflect on who you really feel that you are. If you feel like
Yes.
you're old, if you feel like you're young, you're young. Having ideas and thoughts that are current and how you can relate in a healthy way, them are young thoughts.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yes.
So you could be as old as could be, body wise, age number, but still inside you can have young thoughts when
Right.
it comes to how you express yourself. And many times people will have that, they look young.
Mhm.
They do.
Yes.
Because it's being expressed through the body,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So this balanced relationship you're referring to, and you're never too old to be able to learn that
Yes.
whatsoever. You don't have to get stuck like Chuck and never give up. I want to say that's the word.
Thank you.
And you don't have to think because I'm older, hey, it's over with and this is good enough.
Yes.
I'm the same, always the same. I'm never going to change.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Or I have been through this and I'm done.
Exactly.
because-
So fork it, I'm done.
Exactly, because one experience does not speak to another experience. And experiences are also what you make them. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's about learning from that and learning through that and learning after that experience.
Exactly.
So, you can't just say, "Oh no, it was horrible."
But Charles, hello, how you doing?
I stubbed my toe, so I'm never going to walk on that street again. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeremy.
Well, anyway, hello.
Yeah. And it could be a lot of people from
Yes,
Africa that could be,
yes.
reaching out to
Or
us
people
other
from
places.
other places,
Exactly.
and I love the fact that the names are. I really get into names and
Okay,
stuff.
then what's that name?
I didn't say I can always say them. I said I enjoy the names. That's one of the things I like in the first day of school. The kids are able to tell me what their names are because some of them I can't pronounce, and then we have to work with it. So
Okay. So now we're going to move to our next part, which is about our theme,
our topic
our
today,
topic,
the divine
what we're
feminine
trying
energy.
to hopefully teach
Yes.
and share.
Yes.
Probably better word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Divine what?
Divine feminine energy.
Divine feminine energy.
Yes.
When we say divine feminine energy, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel feminine. It makes me feel good. Yeah, because the thing of it is, when you say divine feminine energy, it brings to mind, ooh, I got to be more in character. But no, I'm exaggerating as I say
I
that.
noticed that when I said that, I did it kind of purposely, because a lot of times when we think about divine, we connect it to visualization.
Yes.
Many times what we connect in the inside is a visualization that we see on the outside.
Right.
That made that determination of what it is. We think of it in the inside.
Yeah.
So many times when we think about divine, we'll think about king or queen. If we're talking about divine feminine, then you're thinking about a queen.
Yes.
And a queen, most of the time you think about is someone who looks like a queen.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Not necessarily someone who acts or has characteristics or
Mhm.
has thoughts or has energy is what we're thinking about
Right.
as a feminine being, a divine feminine being.
Mhm.
We really were attaching to no more than right.
Yeah. And
What do you think about that?
I think you're really on the right track when you start talking about that and mentioning that that's where we started, because one of the things, in order for us to uh, feel feminine, we have to have a visual. We have to have something in our minds, whether it's from our imaginations or whatever, that says this is, our image of femininity.
Mhm.
If we don't have an image of femininity, then we come up with anything or fall into anything. And
Mhm.
quite often, what we fall into is a place of lacking.
Yes.
And that place of lacking is like, well, this is good enough, when it's really not. The feminine energy will cause you to carry yourself in a certain way. Feminine energy will cause you to speak a certain way, and it'll cause you to feel a certain way about yourself. And
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 what are those ways? By the way, Arthur, since you're getting into that and heading that direction, which I'm glad to see you're doing that. What are some of those ways?
well, it's a lot of it has to do with the way you carry yourself, the way you speak.
That's on
The
that's on the outside.
Yeah,
What
but in
does from the inside?
from the inside, you are more you are more balanced from the standpoint of,
You
you
have more
are
intuition.
I'm getting there.
You
You're
show more
nurturing.
nurturing.
Yes, you
Mhm.
are, and when you start nurturing, and you have more
You
compassion.
don't act like
You
you
have
know
more.
everything.
No, you
You're
don't
not
know
very
everything.
egotistical.
Exactly. And you
You
can
don't
say,
get the perception.
thank you.
You don't get the
You
perception like my mom used to
what
do. I know everything. Every time I
yeah,
ask her a question, I know the answer.
yeah, and you
A bug runs in front of me. I go, why is that bug running in front of me? She go, I know the answer. I'll tell you why. He didn't like you. That's why. I mean, what the heck?
yeah, but with the divine feminine energy,
Mhm.
you can also say, thank you. I really appreciate you getting me back on the right track, because I was
Yeah, you
yeah,
was.
I was
Yes.
I was veering.
Collaboration.
Yes.
That's a feminine energy. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Those things that we're talking about, feminine energy, especially at the divine feminine energy, because we're talking
Mhm.
about energy from the
Yes,
inside.
yes.
We're not talking about how you were starting, which we said
Right.
before is not, which is the
Mhm.
outside look. Now,
Exactly.
no
No.
doubt about it, if you
Mhm.
are moving with something in the inside, it's
It
going to
will
reflect.
manifest outside.
Yes, you're
Yes.
not going to, especially mind wise,
Mhm.
it's not going to stay in you, not
Mhm.
come out yet,
Yes. No.
but just keep it secret
Yeah.
inside. So
Right.
it's been a line of mine. I'm going to shine. Everywhere I go. Okay, so
Yes, yes,
I'm being
yes,
funny,
yes,
but
yes. Yeah,
if
I
you're
know
divine energy,
exactly.
you're going to let it shine. Everywhere
Exactly.
you go,
And
it's
you
going to
will
be
see
seen.
that.
You don't have
Yes.
to fake it. You don't have to try
Mhm.
to make it happen.
Yes.
People will get around you and go, "Ooh, man,
Mhm.
I feel drawn to you
Right.
because you have an energy that feels like it's compassionate.
Mhm.
It feels like it's creative. It feels like it's nurturing. It has that intuition." Some of us out here have been around some kind around divine feminine energy females, and
Yes.
you felt that, and you didn't even know the reason why,
Right.
and you felt drawn to them because they were operating that way. They didn't
Exactly.
have to really talk that way. They didn't have to really kind of show up with that kind of clothes, even though it may happen.
Right.
Long robe, locks, even though that does happen.
Mhm.
But you just had, you just can not vibrate, but you just can feel that energy,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. And that was where I was trying to kind of get to,
Mhm.
without, starting off where I needed to
No, you
start
said
off.
I helped you.
Yes, and
Right there,
exactly.
that's good enough. Be
Exactly.
divine.
I am being divine, because and you did help me, because
Yeah.
I was stuck trying to get
I
there.
know, I know.
And so
Like I said, you've been stuck like Chuck, but
but I
I
was
wanted you.
I was like, how do I get there? So thank you.
I mean,
But that's us working
but
together too.
most of the time there is not a lot of good definitions that you can find
Hmm.
for character characteristics of energy
Yes.
and connect it to a
Yeah.
female male being. Most of the time, we don't talk about that
Right.
in our community,
Right.
or we don't talk about it in a relationship whatsoever.
Yeah.
On the um, characteristic side,
Hmm.
when it comes to your inside
Right.
and how you reflect it, how you're acting.
Mhm.
Most of the time we do it, especially today. Most of the time it's done how good you look.
Yes.
It's all about that booty. It's all
Yes.
about that cutie.
Yes.
It's all about, how you sensually draw me to you.
Mhm.
from a sexual point
Yes.
of view.
And that's not what the
that's our
divine
goal.
feminine energy is, though.
No,
It is.
no,
It's not that.
no, that's
You know.
that's not the first goal.
No. It's if you are in a room and someone with several other people and someone walks through and they just say there's something about you, I can't put my finger on it, and you could have no makeup, didn't didn't comb your hair, and just kind of threw on something, but they can say there's something about you that stands out above everybody else in here.
Mhm.
That's that divine feminine energy,
Oh, wow.
because it's not about what you look like, it's not about what you're doing, it's what you're, for lack of a better term, exuding, what is coming from you.
What's exuding? That's a big word for me. I mean, help me out. Help us out there. What's the exuding?
Yes, there you go. Exuding means what comes out. What
Is
is
it water?
it? Could be.
Is it air, more air comes out of you?
It is an air of it's an
Well, you
essence.
mean someone acts very haughty? I think better than you.
Yeah.
Living up in there?
Yeah, you
You
are
hear that law?
exuding
Do you?
you're exuding an air of superiority.
No, there's no way.
Oh, yeah.
If you're divine.
No. You said if they're looking up in the air and hoity-toity.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
I know.
I'm just saying,
Exactly.
is that what
But
you're
that
saying?
would
Is
not,
the air-
that would definitely not be a divine being. A divine, because
Divine feminine,
divine,
yeah.
the divine feminine energy
Mhm.
is one that is secure in itself.
So we describe something. I'm trying to
Yes,
get back to
exactly.
describe
And I
something.
and
So if
Mhm.
a divine feminine being was here, okay,
Mhm.
we're going to say you,
Okay.
and they were
Just for
showing
giggles
the
and grins.
they were given the qualities of intuition.
Mhm.
Give us an example. I mean, for people out there listening, how do I know? When am I going to know if I'm around a divine energy, a woman? I'm going to. I want one. I need one in my life. How am I going to know that? We're not even going to try to default to. Well, I'm a divine, a male being energy. I have a divine,
Yeah.
a male energy. So I really know. We're not going to talk about that.
Right.
So if you don't, so how are you going to know that you're bi or you're connected to, or you can be connected, or you want to be connected, or you want to know what female out there is really showing or existing, or as you say, what you use the word again? Exuding a divine feminine energy.
They're the characteristics that we just mentioned.
Well, give
For
some
example, compassion. A divine feminine, a woman with the divine feminine energy will be able to sense, whether it's intuitively or just by the things that you're doing, that you may need a hug, or may come, just walk up to you and touch you and say, how are you? Or, and do it in a way where it is not just a greeting, but you can feel the actual concern in those three little words. How are you?
Okay. I was going to be real funny too. I was going to say, with a divine energy female, let me continue to watch football on Sunday, even though we had something else we agreed with it, and she just let it go, show compassion, and say, "Oh, it's okay."
Maybe.
That's interesting.
Maybe.
I'll just keep on watching that football. No, check to see if she really is. No.
But it would depend on what else is going on. Are the other plans divine within themselves? Or she may just sit down with you and watch it with you.
Wow, that's something. You a divine feminine being, your mate would sit down with you, watch football with you. Wow, she might be able to tell all the players, all the stats, and make you look back. No,
she might not care anything about it, but it's a matter of spending time together.
This woman was able to talk about different sports individuals, and I didn't even know who they were, and try to end up giving me some stats. Made me feel bad.
I
It
didn't.
messed with my
I-
own ego. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't think it was divine when you did it. I just thought that you was a good sports. How can I say observer and watcher? You probably was doing it because you was trying to make it.
No.
Most women would do that. They'll
Mhm.
watch, get into sports more deeply because they want to try to make a man feel good. And so that's what they do. That last thing you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they have no real interest. They just do it for men.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a divine move to do
It-
that because I don't think necessarily when you are nurturing would be pouring back in.
Right,
Okay, that's
right.
another way to say
Exactly.
pouring back in. I don't know if pouring back into a male's ego to
Mhm.
build his ego
Yeah.
is really something that would be divine.
Yeah.
Because most divine energy is all about you being more emotionally intelligent.
Mhm.
And to be more emotionally intelligent and sensitive, your ego has to drop. Your
Yes.
ego has to get less because most of the time the ego is only about self.
Right.
It's not being selfless. It's about being self-centered.
Right.
So that has to drop. And being a divine, most of the time you're not trying to feed his ego. You're going to try to feed
Or
his,
one up him.
exactly. You're
Yeah.
going to mostly try to feed what he needs is the nurturing of his
Mhm.
spirit,
Yes.
so that he becomes more emotionally sensitive. And all that stuff.
Mhm, mhm.
What do you think about that?
I agree with you. And even when I said, she may sit down with him and watch the game with him, that doesn't mean she's enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that she's enjoying his company. That she is being, she is nurturing to the standpoint of saying, yeah, maybe you want to just be into this, but you don't need to be alone.
All right, here's a brother. How's that? Am I
Sure.
He said he loves it much. We got another brother right here. Looks like they're from our mother continent.
Yes.
I love that. It's David. And we got another brother right here. Oh, Black Media. Great media. We're glad to see that you are watching and enjoying yourself as we're enjoying
Yes.
it. Well, we're going to get ready to go. We'll talk just a little bit more, but then we got to get ready to head to our commercials
Mhm.
that hopefully will help continue to pay for this network
Yes.
and what it's doing. And one day be able to pay all the great hosts for giving such good information.
Yes.
It's worth hundreds and thousands of dollars any other place. But yet we do that out of a place of love to give back
Yes.
in this community, in this world, because what was actually given to us.
Hmm.
Right.
We do this because
They were love.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's very true. And taking just a couple of seconds to
Mhm.
say what we were talking about just a minute ago. There is to me there is not a set. This is what is divine feminine energy, and this is what is divine feminine energy, because sometimes it may be a mixture of all of it, and sometimes it may be one or two, depending on the situation.
And where'd you get that from?
Me.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I say
Is
that,
that a divine thought that just came to you?
it was because it just came to me that we sometimes try to fit things into a box and make everything be just that way.
Who's doing that?
We do.
Who's we?
Women do.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
think that when it comes to divine energy, a divine woman would put things in a box?
No. And that's why I say it is not. It's not where you take all these little things and wrap it up in a nice little bow and put it in a box.
I don't know how you can do that when it comes to these kinds of characteristics.
Mhm.
They're so wide and expanding, and there's so many different choices.
Yeah.
To make
Mhm.
in so many different situations.
Yes.
That the complexity of it would never be put in a box.
Exactly.
When you think about these
Mhm.
particular qualities, they are really seeing that when you operate in the divine
Mhm.
energy space,
Mhm.
or as they say, level up,
Yes.
you are operating outside of the box.
Exactly.
The box in society says that you don't necessarily have to do these things as a
Yes.
female.
Exactly.
So
And
you will be
that's-
out of the box.
And that's why I made that statement, because as we start mentioning these things, if
Mhm.
someone is not quite clear as to where we're going, they may get the idea that you have to be all of these things at all times in order to be acting in the
I don't know
divine
who
feminine.
think that.
Some,
I mean,
yeah.
probably you. Put that in.
But you know what? You know
What
what?
do
Several years ago,
mhm.
I might have not
You're
understanding
letting
it.
yourself limit from the standpoint
Hmm.
of being able to say, I can't do it
Yes.
because it looks like it's impossible for me to get that level because there's so many things to do.
Right. Right.
That doesn't exist when it comes to a divine energy.
Exactly.
The divine energy space, remember we talked about this before, it's like that mathematical principle when it comes to actual mass or the power of synergy. 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 plus 1 can equal 5, 6, 7, or 8
Yes.
because of how energy has a way to actually expand itself more than what it is by itself. Come to
Yes.
think of it. In fact, it could be in 2 places at the same time.
Exactly.
So you don't want to limit yourself
Right.
to even boxes in the first place.
Thank
We're
you.
talking about characteristics that in turn have expansion that are way beyond just a little box.
Yes.
And when you start moving in that direction, then you are actually going outside of the box where society says you can't be anyway. That's what divine being.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because you said exactly what I was trying to get to, but you said it so much better.
Well,
so much clearer, I'll say.
Okay, so let's go to our commercial. Anyway, we're gonna go to commercial, and we'll be back. We'll talk a little bit more about us being divine and also our women being divine, moving to that level where they are able to be much more expansive, much more caring, much more friendly than what they think they can be.
Exactly. And how do you get there?
So getting out of the box.
Yes.
Come and think of it.
And how do you get there?
Exactly.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
Well, we are back. What kind of commercials we have? Boy, there's more commercials and different commercials than what we had before. I didn't know we now were getting help to push different representatives in the community.
Yeah.
Savannah, Georgia, right here is where we're at. In the middle of the world. We're not in the middle of the country, but we're someplace on the southeast coast of the country of the world.
Yep.
Near the boot called Florida. Wow. Okay, so let's do our shameless plug as we should, and let people know a little bit about us and where they can find us. I'll start the first one here real quickly since I'm going to deal with the dials and the budgets. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. On Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 Eastern Standard Time, you can find us on WRUU, where we will be also speaking about taking the journey together. And we usually have the same topic that we're on, unless something special or something different comes up that we need to cover. But again, that is from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. WRUU, that is 107.5.
What
107.5.
Yes.
So that's where you can find us, other than finding us here
Mhm.
on our Black Media on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern
Mhm.
Standard Time. You can also find us on Facebook at TTJ Together, Instagram at Taking the J Together. Our webpage is takingthejourney-together.com. And you can email us at ttjt@takingthejourney-together.com. That's
Okay.
all of us.
That's all of us. Take all the way www.takingthejourney.com.
Yes.
And we're there at 8 o'clock. Where are Thursdays?
Yep, we're right here Thursdays at 6 p.m.
Exactly. So hey, let's head back. I think we got somebody new here at the end. Who is this? All right.
Nice. Thank you. Glad you're with us.
What's her name? Come on.
Martella?
Martia?
Marshall.
Oh, Marshall.
Mhm.
See, you don't want me to try to pronounce I'm not well at all. You do well, better within me, and I will admit it, and I have no problem whatsoever. Welcome back. He was someplace up before that.
Yes.
Grace. Look, I sound like a lot of these names could be from Africa, some from other places.
Other places, yes.
I think we then outran the bots level to be able to create many more. Anyway, let's move on to what you were referred to that I think we should also take seriously, and that has to do with the characteristics. I mean, what qualities do you find out of a divine female that you as a male, or we as a male, would looking for to try to get a better understanding, a better feel that this woman in my life, or this woman I want in my life, is a divine female, and she's operating at the levels that we talk about: nurturing, creation, compassion, and collaboration. I'm able to feel this, and that energy is there. What are some of the practices that maybe that a divine feminine, or someone who wants to be a divine feminine, says, this is what I need, because I want to make that choice? Because it is the act of choice.
Definitely.
For you to choose. We know that the level of feminine energy exists as you as a feminine being anyway, a female being anyway. But we're talking about taking that next level up, being divine. And that still is a choice that you have to make. And it may not be a feeling. You may create a feeling after you make that choice, but it's still a feeling. So what are some of the things that I want to talk about that takes an engagement and practice for you to start practicing and becoming, that's the right word, becoming that divine feeling?
Yes. And that's, I'm glad you used the word becoming, because a lot of people think, well, I've never been that way, so I can't be. But yes, you can. You can, spend time in nature and just learn how to connect with the energies of nature. And that's one of the things that help. And we kind of talked about that last week. Meditation, you get a deeper connection with your inner self being your spirit self, your divine self.
I think you made that point, which we didn't get back on, was the difference between the female energy and divine energy. As again, it's always something to do with your inside.
Yes.
Your feelings and your thoughts that come from the inside, and not the outside is being used to dictate or to say who you are.
Right.
So I guess when you talk about going to nature has a way of hopefully reflecting back to you in nature, where it has you do a lot of internal thought.
Yes.
And a lot of your thoughts, of course, you hopefully roam around while you're in those situations. Well, you won't do like me many times. I just fall asleep. But yeah.
Yeah, I spent before we got together, before we even met, and I was transitioning. Um, I spent a lot of time at this one particular park, either sitting by the lake or sitting under this particular tree. And I was able to really kind of connect with me and work with getting my head on straight to know that my head was way off. You know, it needed a lot of straightening up. But getting out in nature where they're not things to distract you, it's a real good thing. And getting into nature and meditating is also one of those a good thing to do. But one of the other things that I learned, and thanks to you.
All these people. But go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I was looking at you and I didn't see. Uh, Tamara Jackson or Tamara Jackson, Wilson Rabea. Yes.
But anyway, go ahead. I just
Yeah.
I always want to try to give some kind of shout out.
Yes.
So I'd love to have you text back and let us know where are you at in this world. We'd love to know where you're at. So don't be afraid.
Yes.
Ask some questions too at the same time.
Absolutely.
We do coach, and so our coaching is, of course, moving you in a direction to be more, in this case, divine female,
Mm-hmm.
so that it makes you a very good, let's say, mate when it comes to a balanced relationship,
Right.
healthy relationship.
Right.
So, we'd like to help you out with that. We give you some information. Email us, and we're glad to talk with you. Okay.
And one of the things that I was just about to say is along that same line. And this is something that you were instrumental in me getting into, which helped me to move on that
Mhm.
road to finding the divine feminine energy, and that was educating myself. In
Yes.
that, through books, through reading. I remember the very first book you gave me was Iyanla Vanzant's In the Meantime. I have gone through that book probably 6 times over the years, and each time I get stuck on something different that I realize I need to really focus on. And most of the time, after the first couple of times, I don't go through the whole book anymore. I just go through it until I get to the point that I realize I need to work on. And that's where I do my work. But I also, um, Queen Afua's book, Woman, Wombman. I can't think of the full title of it, but it's this like nice lavender book, and
Womb healing, something.
yeah, it's definitely about womb healing and healing the feminine energy so that it can be much better and much more ready to do what it's supposed to do, because you're getting in contact with yourself and you're healing yourself. So once you are in the healing process, you begin to feel that feminine energy, that divine feminine energy, a lot more. And so that book has also done a lot to help me through this. And those are just 2 of the books. There's so many books that are out there for different stages that you find yourself when you are going through this, and you are uh, uh, physically or in the process, actively, that's the word I'm looking for, actively looking to heal and become more of that divine feminine energy.
What's another one? So kind of help those who want to be energy or a divine
Feminine energy.
something that can become confirmation to them,
Mhm.
or something that's new to them. Of course, for those males out there, we're also looking for a divine feminine women for them in the life.
Mhm.
What's another one? You just gave one that's just natural connection with the life affirming energy,
Mhm.
where being around a person, a lady like that, woman like that, makes you feel grounded,
Yes.
makes you feel comfortable,
Mhm.
makes you feel like you don't have to put on an act or entertain,
Exactly.
because their energies affirms you in such a way that it has you feel that it's all right with who you are.
Mm-hmm. And
Right.
exactly. And one of the
I
things that
accept you for who you are.
right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm
At least that's who
finding,
you are.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm finding that um, there are times when I'm more comfortable in me, and that's something that I had not been. There were points where I was, but then I went through this great period where I wasn't. These reading these books and finding out more about me is and where I am is also helping me to get comfortable with that divine feminine energy. And when I say get comfortable with it, I mean acknowledge that it's okay for me to have.
Yes, yes. How about the next one? You know, jump on our notes.
Mhm. Foster connections with women as natural channels of this energy.
You
Yeah.
mean any woman?
Oh no,
Okay.
no.
So what do you mean by foster connection? What is foster?
Build, nurture, nourish the
So they may not
these
be your,
relationships.
they may not be your natural blood.
Oh no, no, they may be, but quite often they're not. You know, they are quite often they are women who come into your circle, and honestly, they come into your circle because you're drawing them in because you're looking for or feeling that need or that desire to have more of that nice positive feminine energy, that divine feminine energy, and so you're calling it into your space. And so um so they're quite often not family members. They may be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you take those connections and you build on them.
You know what I thought about foster?
What?
Just like I said the first time, foster usually being foster children.
Hmm.
They're not your children.
Right.
They're someone else's children.
Right.
But you still think of them being their children.
Hmm.
And you love them as if they are your children.
Right.
So I thought when you used the word foster, that also meant that they would not be just your family.
Hmm.
Blood family, that is.
Right.
Other sisters in your life that have a spiritual divine energy, that caring,
Yes.
with that nurturing and intuition,
Hmm.
and they draw you to them, and you're drawn to them, and they could be like mentors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To you in your
Yes.
life,
Or vice
vice
versa.
versa. How
Yeah.
many older sisters do you know of, or older women do you know of in your life, whether they're relatives or not, but you could tell being around their presence, they were like a divine energy, and in turn you learn things from them, and they at the same time teach you some principles, either by how they lived or by what they set up both. Or did you have any like that?
I did have some. I came from a lifestyle that was very feminine. There were not a lot of male energies around for one reason or another. I don't know. It was. I mean, they were there, but it was mainly the feminine energies that I gravitated
mostly more
towards.
about what they did, but not much what they said.
Both. Oh, you mean the males?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I knew more about what they did than what
I
they
see
said.
coming from up north and
Yes.
down south, a lot of male situations and setups are like that.
Mhm.
I don't say whatsoever all males are that way on down south, but a lot. From me coming up north, I see a lot of stuff with men that most of the time you've seen, but not necessarily heard.
A lot of mine were heard.
Mhm.
They just were not. Um,
Much of
the,
it, you around.
the men that were around, they were more into themselves, but when it came time to say something, they had something to say and they were listened to. But
Not enough that you speak much of it.
Mm, no,
At all.
no.
And other women that I've seen down south
Mhm.
mostly don't speak much of men in their life.
Yeah.
I'm going to say all, but most
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
So I
And-
see them most men seen with most of them, and not necessarily heard.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I've been around,
Mhm.
just like up north, when
Mhm.
we're around boys, whatever you want to talk. We might run our mouth
Mhm.
and talk about egotistical things, or just talk because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
uncomfortable. I think it's just a dynamics down south. It has a lot to do with how racism set up
Yeah.
itself. Black males were forced,
Mhm.
told, and sometimes we shot and killed if they
Yeah.
spoke up.
Yeah.
If they and didn't keep quiet.
Right.
And so therefore they, moved themselves to be that way
Mhm.
because of that. And the fear that was overtaken many times
Mhm.
on the side of their mates also in turn expected the same thing because they wanted to stay alive.
Yeah.
And not interface with. And we see today, though they try to play as post, and I'm going to finish, they try to show that it's post racist. We still see today a lot of men not necessarily speak up
Mhm.
outside in the community. You keep it to only strict people. But I don't want to say anything because I want to get along and I want to cause
Right.
trouble. And
Right.
I see some in their relationships that same way.
Right.
I want to get along. I don't want to cause any trouble, so I'm not going to really say
Mhm.
anything.
Mhm.
Most running the show is not necessarily a balanced approach. And we're talking about, in this case, we're talking about the divine side of this. We're talking in that divine female that you're just got to bring it up. We're making that natural connection.
Right.
There's probably no doubt about those other females. I'm not going to give a perception. Male's word, male's thoughts, male's energy is not valuable.
Yeah. No, and that's what I was going to say. Even though they did not, they were not boisterous, and they were not just in your face or any of that.
I wasn't
They
referring
no,
to
no, no,
that.
no, no.
A
What
lot of times that's said as a stereotype. They say with a lot of black men, especially up north, is they even call it outspoken. I don't know what outspoken means.
Mhm.
Is that different? Underspoken? You don't say anything at all.
Inspoken.
Yeah. So usually that means if you were, like a white counterpart, and you were in business, and you were speaking up, speaking what your mind, speaking what you feel, speaking what you thought was right, then you would be assertive. You'd be outgoing. You'd be a go-getter.
Yes.
But if African Americans say, the black guy says that he's been loud, he's been boisterous,
Yes.
you said,
Yes.
he's being too assertive.
Right.
And I think that's wrong. In fact, I know it's wrong. It's
Yes.
a stereotype that is not fair as for a human
Mhm.
in its balance in its merit.
Yes. Yes.
If a black man is able to speak and feel comfortable, then he's assertive.
Mhm.
He in turn is not outspoken. He's just speaking what he feels, what he thinks.
Mhm.
Hopefully, he's doing it in a loving, caring way. Most of the time, he may be doing it in a loving,
Yes.
caring way. Most of the time, I believe he is.
Mhm.
I just think sometimes our stereotypes carry into our relationships, and in turn, it does an unfair balance to male end. And I think in a divine female, it's not going to let that happen because it's not a good way to nurture a male.
Exactly.
It's not a good way to show care for a male. It's not a good way because they will use intuition to say
Mhm.
if he does, as you say, boisterous,
Mhm.
maybe he's upset over something.
Right.
Maybe he's uncomfortable with something.
Exactly.
But my intuition, I have the ability to be able to feel that,
Yes.
even though he's not showing that
Right.
because of his ego. But I'm able to look behind it.
Right.
I'm able to look behind the hurt
Mhm.
to in turn know what's really going on.
Yeah.
Be able to help heal.
Yeah. And we're running out of time, but next week I want to, since you asked this question about the women that were in my life that had that divine feminine energy, I want to talk about the one who really showed me what divine feminine energy is without even knowing it.
I can see that happen.
Yeah.
When we talk about divine energy, I will talk about a couple of examples that I had in my life. Definitely divine energy males.
Yeah.
Northern and Southern.
Yeah.
I knew that about them when I hung around them and how they expressed themselves to the world. So I knew there was something different about them. You went the same brother run the street.
Right.
It was an N. That's what you call him. Okay. It was an OG. It was just something different about his character.
Yeah.
And a lot of people knew that when they were around him, as much as I was. And I felt blessed being around those brothers that left definitely some footprints in myself, or some memories.
Yes.
And I picked up some of the characteristics. Sometimes. In fact, a lot of ways with me.
Right. Right.
So we're coming to the end of our show, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So we got how many more minutes we got in? Oh, we just got a couple of more
Yeah.
minutes. I think
Yes.
2 more minutes, maybe 3 more minutes. You want to end with the last one you said about pursuing
Well, we've got
activities that bring joy and full fulfillment.
fulfillment.
How's that one?
Oh, yeah, that's one that's going to take a minute to talk about too.
Yep. Hey, give us an example of something that you have did to bring joy, fulfillment to our relationship.
Okay, one of the things that I have done to bring joy and fulfillment, I'm going to go back to the old standby that you say was a ploy.
You only did it once, but it worked. You got me. Go ahead.
The trip I planned to on the train trip to Royal Gorge
Yes,
years and
Colorado,
years and years ago.
Talk about a joyful time. Now, we've had many joyful times.
Yes,
Because
yes.
we like to travel. We love the pleasure of being travel. We're going to be talking about those pleasure contracts.
Yes.
But we did a lot of travel. We definitely appreciate that and love that together.
Mhm.
And that was the first example of something that we got together when
Yes.
we came to travel together. Am I right?
Exactly.
I really was joyful with it. Got on one of those trains that you can set up on the top
Yeah.
and the glass is out and you can look all over. And then the train takes that turn around that curve.
And you can see the back
backside of
end.
the train. It was something.
Yes.
The first time a sister went that high on the level to try. At least me as a brother, make me feel good and joyful.
Yeah.
And it really did. I think I was going to have my dream state. Looking like that. I said to myself, I can't let this one go. She said, yeah, I do.
That was that divine feminine energy.
That
I knew what you needed.
Yes, yes, say that again.
I knew what you needed.
Yes. What's that before you go?
The divine feminine is a non-denominational concept and self-exploration that restores a balance to our worship and spiritual practices.
Absolutely. Amen. I'll say to you, my brother. This young brother got some wisdom within him. He
Yes.
was young. He got some definitely well when you are in a relationship. We look to the answers to make sure that you find it. I already have divine feminine female in my life.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, you know what? You know what that means, don't you?
Until next time,
Yes.
continue taking the journey together.
Yeah, I'll shake. I'll shake.
Like this. 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 Like this.